Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fifth episode of your favorite show on YouTube called Ninjas Abroad. And here on today's episode, we have a special one for you, and I know you're definitely going to enjoy this. I have a brother and a friend from way back, all the way from Inseratai. It is Atai, but pronounced Inseratai in Akwa Ibom State. I met this dude in 2010?
2009.
2009 to 2010, correct. Yeah, so please, it's a pleasure to have my brother, Mr. Babalola Williams on the show. Welcome on board, my brother.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Mr. Rabiu.
How have you been now?
Again. Doing great. It's good to see you again. Life has changed. We haven't seen each other for exactly 12, 13, 12 years right now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's good. You haven't changed, man. You don't age, guy.
And thanks to social media, we've always kept in touch now. Once in a while, we buzz each other,
True,
I remember seeing you. I think the first picture of you that I saw that made me know that you were already in the US was when you were doing, I think it was a presentation in Yale or something. I said, oh, proud of my brother. My brother at Yale University. Okay. From the, for the sake of our viewers, kindly introduce yourself to them, please.
All right. My name is Babalola Williams, like you rightly said. Do you want me to give a professional background and all that? Oh, great.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Babalola Williams, I had my undergrad in Covenant University. I studied business administration. My professional career spanned across retail banking, consumer electronics, fashion, a bit of real estate, advertising, and retail space. So after my undergrad, I moved to retail banking. I started working in Zenith Bank. Maybe 2 years after my journey in the fashion industry. Then after which I paused that career to pursue an MBA. It was a very difficult
Lagos
decision.
Business School, right?
Yeah, Lagos Business School. It was a tough call. It was a tough call because I left the month I was going to get promoted. So what I chose to do was I wasn't sure if book went on my head again. So I took my full year leave of work, which was 5 weeks or 4 weeks after stretch. So we usually have this thing called the brush up. So the brush up is meant to speed up before the proper classes start up. And I remember the first week I was in that class and I'm like, man, I can't do this. I can't do this. It's a whole lot of work. I met a lot of smart people. I was intimidated. I was like, man, you know what? Let me just get promoted, get more money, and come back to school. Yeah. But eventually, it was worth it. I stayed through it, and I had a good experience. And like you rightly said, you saw pictures of me presenting at Yale. So in 2014, I came to the US. I was representing my school in Africa on a global case competition, which was really grand and it was a good exposure. And I think it was that exact year I met a friend who I still keep in touch with today.
So that was an exchange program?
No, it was just a case competition, where top business schools across the globe would come and, present and defend, whatever business problem that we had that time. So it was a raw case situation. So you have the real problems given in front of you there and then. We also had the businesses who were involved right there in the room, and they picked the best representatives or the best recommendations going forward. So I met a friend over on the program who also told me about the program in which I eventually did in 2019 at Yale, which was a Master's of Advanced Management. So returning back to Nigeria, just to give it in a good order, I worked at Samsung, to be precise. Mm-hmm. I was the product marketing manager in Samsung. I introduced Africa's first virtual 3D online store. So how it worked in that time is where right now it's common in the US, but at that time to me, the novel idea was just being a kid who was just thinking out of the box. So the situation was I was responsible for launching new brand stores across West Africa. I managed 30 plus brand stores. And also part of the things I did was we had a new launch, which was in Lekki, and I used that as a model, pilot for this particular solution. So the idea was, I could go onto the Samsung website, I see a particular location store, and I'm trying to check if, I can buy a certain product on that particular website. So say I pick Edgewater, where I stay right now. I click on the Samsung store, Edgewater, and what happens is I pop into the front door of the store and with my mouse I can navigate through the store. So if I turn left, I'm seeing the shelves of the phone, I click on the products, and it gives the product description all through again. If I see a TV, I click on it, I can add to cart. So it was actually very interesting for me at that particular point in time. So it was pretty exciting. for me, and I really enjoyed doing that particular project. Then after my time in Samsung, I moved into international development space. I worked for companies like Coffee International Development. I was responsible for creating 2,000 plus full-time jobs. I was able to establish like 86 new businesses. The project mandate was to create 10,000 jobs and increase incomes of 500,000 Nigerians within that project. So the interventions in which I worked in were primarily three. I worked on the solar off-grid power intervention. I worked on agribusiness, and I worked on waste recycling space as well. So those are pretty challenging, projects.
My brother, what a resume! You're actually more than myself to Nigeria. I mean, I'm proud to hear all these this milestone and all that you did. So when did you decide that I think it's time for me to just leave Nigeria and move to the US?
So my decision to come to the US was in 2014. When I came for the case competition, and that was where I decided I wanted to explore this. So I had the option of finishing my MBA in Lagos Business School in 2015 and starting this program in 2016. Mm-hmm. But I was like, nah, I was a full-time, I had a full-time job. I dropped out at the point of promotion. And at this point, I felt I needed money. I needed to work. So I decided to work, and mentally I programmed myself to come to the US specifically for this program. I wasn't coming for any of that thing. I wasn't looking at any of that school. It was just one school I applied to, and I focused on getting that job. And I got it. So my plan was to come in 2018. That didn't pan out like I expected it to. So I said I was going to give it a shot in 2019, and that was history. So coming again to the US in 2019. I didn't want to stay in the US, to be quite frank. And a lot of people, a lot of internationals were like, what's wrong with this guy? Like, why don't I stay in the US? I wanted to go to Asia. I wanted to go to Singapore. I wanted to go to China. And when I was like, I joined all the Asian groups, South Korea.
I saw the presentation and all that. And I saw all the pictures. And I saw some of the pictures.
I would, if not for COVID, I had an exchange program. I was going to go to Indonesia for an exchange program. I also did a program at Canada, also while I was in at Yale, at UBC, so that's a business school. But I went to go to Asia like planned. But December of 2019/January 2020, I'm like, so the logic why I wanted to go to Asia was the fact that I wasn't married, and I felt it was a good opportunity for me to explore. I did the point where I hadn't yet settled down, so I didn't want a situation where I have to start thinking about my spouse or getting a job, learning the new language. I was like, it seems like I'm free as a bird. Let me just do this for 1 year, 2 years. But again, I thought about it. I have the opportunity to work in the US. Why not just explore it, And again, I felt that thinking at that point again, the rationale wasn't strong enough because again, I could still be married and also move my partner if we agree to explore the Asian market space. So that's when I decided on doing it, on staying in the US.
That's good. So when you did move to the US, how was the transitioning like?
Transitioning was slightly smooth. No, it was very challenging. I have to be upfront with that. It was very challenging. And also, before I respond to it, I think I and my setmate, like Nigerians, put it on ourselves to make it make the transition smooth for other Nigerians coming in, because there are a lot of gaps. Like we didn't know opportunities we could do. We didn't know like we could get certain type of student jobs, even being an RA. There's certain things we couldn't do because we're closed-minded. In the Nigerian market, Nigerian space, educational space, you already think in a certain way, right? Yeah. So you're going with that box, and even you think outside the box, you're not really exploring as much, because even you outside the initial box is on. I'm just doing the basics in the US. Okay, great. All right. So part of the challenges I had was, knowing what to do, who to interact with, maybe as even basic things like maybe clubs or society that you need to associate myself with. So there are a lot of, issues or challenges at that time. And I also think, again, COVID also made it a bit stronger for we internationals, because now that we're back home, we all depended on one another or a mental state and ensuring you had things in order. But generally, it was a bit challenging. We found a way out of it.
That's good. Nice to hear that. So for those of us who haven't been to, around the vicinity where Yale is located and your current location, which is Edgewater, New Jersey, what can you tell us about Edgewater, New Jersey, please?
Edgewater is so I don't brag, but Edgewater is a beautiful location. It's a beautiful area. Literally what separates, New York from Edgewater is the Hudson River. I don't know if you ever know there's a historic event that happened where there was a plane. I can't remember the plane.
A
The plane that landed
in the Hudson River.
Exactly. So that's the exact river where that happened. I don't know if I was around that period, I probably would have panicked seeing a plane landing outside my window.
It's a huge river. That's the river that cuts across the George Washington Bridge.
Correct. Very correct. So I picked Edgewater because, proximity to work. My work is in Manhattan, New York. So it just takes me like 6-7 minutes precisely across the water. And I'm in Manhattan. Life is easy.
Oh boy. So you pay the $16 too every day.
Well, what can we do? But beauty of working from home is hybrid. I go to the office whenever I want to go to the office at this particular point in time. But yeah, that's the price I have to pay. So Edgewater is a beautiful place. It's very diverse. We have West New York, which is like pretty behind me. We have lots of Hispanics around. We have few African Americans around. So we have Asians around. So it's very diverse, very mixed. We have beautiful restaurants around here as well. And most of my explorations are, going into the city. And there's a saying that says the beauty of New York is outside New York. So from my view, I can see how beautiful New York is. Maybe I could send you a picture.
Yeah, especially at night, right?
At night, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful sight. You have people who travel just to take pictures over there, just to get a view of New York.
There's this library that's in New Jersey. I forgot the location, but right across from the library, it's like a museum.
Okay.
It's called I forgot. My wife took me there one time, not too long ago, like 4 months ago. So right across from the museum, you will see the water. Then you will see Manhattan. At night, man, the picture was so...
It is beautiful. I have tons of pictures. I'm always still amazed every time I drive there. So now I'll just park. If I want to just clear my mind, I just sit down. But when it's winter and cold, I'm back in my apartment.
Yes, my brother. So you took us earlier in this chat session, you took us through your career path in Nigeria. Now that you're in Edgewater, New Jersey, and living in the United States of America, what career path are you pursuing?
All right. So after my program, I started off with a friend's startup company called VRent. I've also been passionate about entrepreneurship and startups. I have a good friend of mine who had a company. So there I was the program manager. I was responsible for coordinating and driving the business growth itself, writing pitch decks for us to be able to raise funding because we're at the point of funding at that particular point in time. I was also responsible for coming up with new strategies and new focus of what the business model would be or the value proposition that existed for the company at that time. Then at a certain point, I left that. I'm still very much involved in the business, but I also proceeded to move to Amazon. So I worked at advertising, and my job title was the expansion program manager. So I'm responsible for the decision and also the driving and coordination of Amazon's decision to move into new marketplaces. So it's a very huge responsibility. It's a huge array of things that needs to be done, a lot of coordinations. I work with teams outside the US. Time zones are ridiculous. Teams in India, teams in Seattle. So it's just crazy. It's very interesting, very demanding, very tasking. Amazon is a wonderful place to work in, but it's also very demanding. But I enjoy what I do, to be honest.
It's nice to hear that I think you build about maybe the second or the third Nigerian that I know directly that works with Amazon. I remember a couple of months ago, it was during COVID. Amazon was planning to have they were planning to build a huge factory in New York, and all of a sudden, through legislation and politics, they just scrapped that plan. I don't know why, but we're not going to get into that. That's all about.
And the good thing about Amazon is in Nigeria. We have Amazon Prime in Nigeria right now. We're also gonna expand into the retail itself. So there's a huge prospect for Nigerians who are interested to join Amazon again back home in Nigeria. And if you can't get one outside, you could definitely get there as well. So this is free advertisement.
Yeah, that's good to know. Good to hear all this good stuff, my brother. So aside from going to school, working, and all that stuff, what do you do for fun around the Edgewater locality?
For fun, I usually go on walks. We have beautiful parks over here that I'm
I
not broken park.
remember you used to be. I don't know if you still a
Ride
bike.
the power bike.
Ride the bike.
Yeah.
You don't be Charlie boy.
So yeah, I'm thinking of getting a sport bike again, a power bike again. I miss riding, to be honest.
Oh boy, I used to see then when
I
I was
miss
still in
riding.
Nigeria. I used to see some of your Saturday drive. But I said, wait, this guy,
Yeah.
man. Oh boy.
Yeah, I used to. Sometimes I could live on the edge, but
Hmm.
with sense. But even with my own with sense, some people's extreme. What day was that? Today's Sunday. On Friday, I went skydiving, and
Oh
that's like
boy.
I've never done that before. Like it was insane. It was insane. It
Yeah.
was insane. It was a beautiful experience. You know, Angelina was pumping. I just came down, I was just shout like screaming. I couldn't express it. That's the thing. I
You know,
couldn't
some,
express it. You
yeah,
know, jumping off the plane and falling down.
yeah. Thank God
Yeah,
we're here. Sometimes there are stuff that ordinarily I wouldn't even think of trying or
yeah.
venturing into, but because of the environment we're in, we're able to,
Explore that. Very true.
explore the stuff. Like for instance, I don't know why I don't like going on what's it called, on the boat ride or boat cruise.
Mm.
But my wife is gradually talking me into doing that now. I
Try
said,
it,
man,
give it a shot.
yeah, we'll see what's in. I will try now. So
Give it a
around
shot.
the Edgewater area, how do you get Nigerian foods, or do you guys have a Nigerian African market?
There's not African market close by. If you want to do free advertisement, like I mean naming names, but if
No,
you want that.
if you call them now, no wahala.
so, so
We know the businesses.
the closest I could get for like African recipes, not the actual food itself, like
Oh,
the
okay.
stuff
The
itself,
items.
items, yeah. Food
Mm.
bazaar, so I can get a few over there. I have like a grocery store, Acme, just across me.
Oh
But for
yeah.
the actual food itself, I have to drive like I literally drove there today. It's an hour drive from here, 1 hour plus. I
Oh,
have to go to Olaide Kitchen all the way.
they don't deliver to you.
They don't deliver up to my point. I think they say like 15 miles radius, and I'm outside 15 miles radius or so.
Oh.
So you can't get to me. So I have to drive and pick it up. So I drove 1 hour to pick it up and an hour back. And what I ended up doing is I can't go down and buy a plate of food. So I just buy like tray.
A bunch, yeah.
Exactly. And I'm not coming back over there as well. But to also get the Nigerian and the African feel, I go to New York. The restaurants in New York, like Lagos restaurant itself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like to cook. The things I like to cook. I really like to cook. So I basically cook everything. And most times I cook everything I want to cook. Except I just feel, maybe I have a lot of work. I know how cooking is tricky. You just 15 minutes, what is it on? It's a lie.
Before you
it's a lie.
Sometimes it's a whole day's job.
It's the whole day, and I always fall victim to that basic thought of I can quickly get it done. But I enjoy cooking, so I cook most of the time. And if I'm not, I just give myself a treat and I just buy and stock it up to whenever I feel like eating it as well.
My brother, I was listening to a popular American stock analyst. He was talking about he was giving us some tips or factors of how people can navigate this inflation and recession period. And he was talking about, if, for instance, you used to buy coffee every day, you can start making coffee from your house. You save a lot of money from that. Then he also spoke about you stop ordering food from outside, start cooking it at home yourself. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, now me this guy talking. Me, I did right from time. I've always been cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother. Even coffee, I get coffee, decaf, tea. I get all those things for her. I just felt, what's the point of go buy something that I can literally make for less than 50 cents? Why should I go and buy it for $3?
Yeah. Part of the culture shock I had when I came to the US was the love for coffee.
My brother,
it didn't make any sense.
I don't know what we can like.
It didn't make any sense to me. But I'm like,
I don't know what we can liken coffee to in Nigeria. I would say to not all Yorubas, to some Yoruba people, they like ogi a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't think.
But would you go to a restaurant to get ogi?
No.
Exactly. So the fact that in as much as you like it, maybe just the Nigerianness in all of us, the fact that you really like it, I don't think we're willing to pay premium for it. We rather just do it because coffee. I'm seeing coffee $5, $6.
And they buy them. Look at businesses like Starbucks. They're making money now. Making money. All those huge businesses and all that. But that's why the economy is as successful compared to the economy back home. For the sake of our viewers and a few Nigerians who might want to visit Edgewater and New Jersey anytime soon or in the near future, what are some historic places you would recommend for them to visit?
Historic. So personally, my own experience more is because I'm close to Manhattan itself.
Yeah.
Most of my experiences are usually across the river because I always like to go outside my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the places I usually just go are like the Massachusetts. You have the World Trade Center, the Memorial World Trade Center as well. There's a place I really can't remember the name. Just skip my mind right now. It's like a honeyboard where people climb up. It has a good view. Yeah, those are the areas that come to mind right now. Then Empire State Building, beautiful place.
And all that. Yeah. What about the what is it called? There's this package. When I first got to the US, there's this package you pay, and they show you across. You go on a boat cruise for like maybe 2 hours.
Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, they take you to Statue of Liberty and all the bridges in New York.
Yep.
Like the Brooklyn Bridge, the Trucks Neck, the White Stone Bridge. They'll make sure to take you through it. It's Manhattan is a lot, man. It's a lot, and it's very beautiful, especially at night.
It is with lots of lights.
Have you been to Rockefeller Center? Rockefeller.
I haven't been to Rockefeller Center.
Yeah, that's a nice place to be to. But the best time to visit Rockefeller Center should be the Christmas period, anytime after Thanksgiving. Where they erect this massive, gigantic Christmas.
Oh, I've been there. There's a huge tree. I've been there. I was like, hey, I've been there.
They have this ice skating there too.
Yes. In the middle of it. You're correct.
Right there. And that place is like a stone throw from the popular St. Patrick's Cathedral. The popular Catholic Church, St. Patrick's Cathedral, right there. Those are fun places to visit sometimes,
Yes.
They're
not Bergen area. You also have like the parks and those are the historical places where you could see. So they have money,
like Central Park.
Yeah, Central Park. But I'm also even speaking about Edgewater itself. So you also have like parks over there where they celebrate like historic heroes, like who fought in the war.
Okay, veteran.
Is it Harmonton? Yeah, Harmonton. It was meant to be like vice president of Nigeria. Sorry, I said Nigeria.
America.
It was meant to be the first vice president of Nigeria, but he got killed when they're having like this. Their gun draws. He had a fight with someone. So
is this Alexander Hamilton?
Yeah, they even do a stage play for him.
Yes, there's a Broadway show on
Broadway of Hamilton. Yeah. So he died here. He died behind, where I'm at as well. So it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place.
Nice to hear that, man. What do you miss most about Nigeria? I haven't lived in America for years now. What do you miss most about Nigeria?
I miss, to be honest, I went back home 2020 briefly, and I just miss the culture. It's just very much recently that I've started like having a wider audience or wider range of Nigerians right now. Before I've just been I was very deliberate. I said I left Nigeria. Nigerians are fine. They're good. Let me meet the people I've never met before. I've never met before. Yeah. So it's just now that I'm actually meeting Nigerians and I'm meeting them in Jersey. I never wanted to come to Jersey because I felt I love Nigerians in Jersey. I love Nigerians in Texas. So I don't want to be around there. Not because I have any issues with being there. I'm in Nigeria and I can't hit my food. But I just want to like explore different cultures. And recently I've started meeting a lot of people and it just brought me back home. So in 2020 when I went back home, even prior to that, I just missed, the whole culture, the food. You can't go wrong with the food.
My brother, what I miss most?
You can't go wrong with the food back home.
Like you're coming back from work and you just decide, what, I'm not really hungry. Let me just stop and pick up suya, ram suya.
That kind of bro. No suya. All right, steak.
Pepper soup, that kind of thing. I miss those things.
Yeah, you can't get all that. I remember when I came to New York, I think I came back from a trip in Canada. After my program in Canada, I visited a friend, my college friend in Brooklyn. And he took me this Nigerian son. Like he told me about it all through the flights. I was just thinking finally. Because Connecticut, I didn't know anywhere. I was finally going to eat some Nigerian delicacy. And they served me this vegetable and it was spinach. I'm like, this is spinach now. This is not the real deal.
What they called it afang soup or what?
Maybe it was Alpha. That's not a real deal, but
So because of
I said,
vaccine,
no,
but
like,
it
we
don't
didn't
taste
manage.
like it don't taste like
It's
what we had
not.
over in our Akwa Ibom now. Oh my God, man.
It's not. It's not. But I miss the food. I miss the I miss the music. But now having to meet Nigerians. Some weeks ago, I found or I got invited to like a Nigerian club somewhere in Jersey. It was pretty good. Strictly Nigerian music, run by Nigerian
That's
people.
good.
So it felt much like home. My friend also had a party last year in New York. I think it was in Brooklyn as well. So because it was a guy, no, the guy is some affluent dude, but he literally took over the club with strictly Nigerian music and everything. It was good. It was a good experience. So the music, the culture, which is the food, the dressing as well. I can't even go wrong with the dressing. You
Yeah,
know,
my
over
brother.
here in the UK, everybody's laid back. Just wear white t-shirts or a gray t-shirt, and that's the end. And
Yeah,
I'm like, wow.
you know.
So I'm very intentional. Maybe because I came with all of like my Nigerian stuff and also,
Yeah.
you know, having a bit of dress sense. I'm still very deliberate and intentional about, you know, how it's not like I'm trying to force anything. It's just me being me. It's also easier for you to spot a Nigerian that way
Yeah,
as well.
exactly. Yeah,
Like
yeah. Before they
you
mistake you
just see
for
somebody that
someone else.
is just broad. It's basically dressing like this. This guy's Nigerian. Forget about it. And family. Most people are also family.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
For our viewers, especially those in Nigeria who intend or who plan on sojourning abroad to pursue their goals, what advice do you have for them, please?
I would say pursue it, no matter how long it is. I'm not going to sound very strategic, like, oh, I had everything all figured out. You know, we probably all don't have it all figured out. We most, in a good extent, we have an idea of what you want to do. Even the rich also still don't figure it out. Even regardless of the wealth you have, that's why you also have some people with some crazy mental state, and you know, sadly, they commit suicide or they feel underachieved, regardless of whatever results that they do have. So, my advice to Nigerians who are interested in coming over for whatever reasons, you know, have a game plan, think it through. Most importantly, seek advice. You can never go wrong, and you can never run dry of advice and yearning, you know, to know what to do. Because you know, there's a saying that says, wisdom is learning from other people's mistakes, and that's something I'm much of an advocate of. So if I have people who are interested, for example, who are interested to come into my school, I will let you know clearly, like, this is the mistake I made coming in. These were information I didn't have. I'm going to give it to you on a platter. So
Yes,
it's
my brother.
easier for you. And I always share these things with one thing. Before I start, I said, see, what I'm doing to you, you have to promise me to pass this on to somebody else. You know, if you can't pass it on, then do it.
Yeah, there's
I'm
no
not gonna
need.
stress myself with you.
Yeah, yeah. That's part of being our
There's no
brother,
need.
our
There's no
sister's
need.
keeper. Yeah,
So
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So, because
What
you
were
also
you
have other
saying?
cultures, you also have other races over here, or nationalities rather, over here in the US. And somehow from a distance, we also see them as closely knitted, that they have each other's back, they're able
Yeah,
to solve each other's issues. Somehow they have a system that works. They might not be 100%, you know, it might not be 100% as we imagine, but it's clear, evident that these guys are united in something, in getting things done.
right.
So, for Nigerians who are interested, if it's education, pursue it. If it's academia and you feel, oh, this is where maybe you want to be a professor, you know, and somehow you don't want to go for the best, or rather you limit yourself. What I'm trying to drive at is don't limit yourself in whatever goal you set for yourself. Seek the best, seek the reality, explore it all together, right? My case was there was no that place I was looking for. You know, it was just I went to go to Yale, and it was Yale alone. At that point in time, it was Yale
Yes, my
alone.
brother. Just you
Tomorrow
have
I
to
might
give
say I
that.
want to pursue it. So it might be on that thing next year, next 2 years. You know, I've told myself I'm not doing it. I'm not doing full-time education again, but I don't know what to
My brother, you know, it was
I don't know what to
yeah, it was a little tough for me. Oh. Going to school in Nigeria was so easy for me. Everything that I studied, even though I didn't get exactly what I actually wanted to study in university, but
Yep.
everything going to school was so easy for me. When people are shouting about reading or cramming
Yeah.
it was so easy for me, you know. But
Yeah.
I haven't given it a break from
Oh yeah.
2009. Then I went back for my master's in 2018. My brother, it was serious. It was tough. So I was like, why did I even finish this thing a long time ago? You know?
I just move on.
Yeah, I just move on with my life and all that. But I thank God I was able to finish that during COVID, even at that time.
Yeah.
But it's been nice talking with you, my brother. Also, the
Same
final
here.
question is, I haven't lived abroad for a number of years now.
Yep.
What advice do you have for the Nigerian government, please?
I think the government, they know what to do.
They don't just want to do it, right?
They know what to do. They just don't want to do it. I always say this kind of stuff like America can't be like Nigeria if they didn't create a structure that prevents it. So if you have a structure that breeds, that makes politics highly attractive in the wealth generation, then the US can be, or any developed country can be the same way. So where you say presidential ticket is $500,000 naira.
Yeah.
And that's your primary ticket.
This one is for 100 million, my brother. 100 million. Naira. So in my mind, I'm thinking, what about all those people, all those candidates that bought and lost in the primaries?
Exactly. They have to buy delegates, and eventually this man gets into office. Is he genuinely thinking about me and you? He's thinking about recouping his money. He's thinking about dancing to the tunes of his financiers and ensuring, they get it done. So the government know what.
Possibly, if they took some loans out from the bank too, they have to return the loans.
They have to pay back. So they know exactly what to do. A use case example is your leaders, right? And this is why I say it's hard for me to give them an advice. They fall ill, even up to the president level. He falls ill and he has to leave his country to go to another man's country. So are you saying we don't have doctors? Or are you saying we don't have the infrastructure for that? I think these are basic things that should even be a wake-up call to say, hey, okay, why do I have to fly to the UK to get treated? At least let me even save face. Let me even get the doctors, or let me even assign funding for their location to even have those equipments in your presidential villa. Like there's so many, ridiculous things that happens in the system. So when politics becomes overly, it looks more like a wealth generating system, then we always have bad leaders. And I think the advice I'd rather give would be for the people. Now, growing up as a child, you hear things like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer. Or we have our parents back then. Our parents at one age will say, oh, doctor, engineer, what's the other one again? Doctor, engineer, accountant, and there's one other one again.
Yeah,
after that,
you're a scientist.
After that, any other profession at that point is they don't even consider it. Maybe banker again, they don't even consider it. But now having a system where fraud or illicit funding and way of getting money becomes like the order of the day. I want to be a hush puppy. I want to live lavishly in ways like that. So it's very disappointing. So I would just say the other advice I would give for the people is, just have your hopes. Plan accordingly for yourself and for your future. And as much as our government fails us, leadership is from the top down, but there's also leadership from the bottom up. So if the bottom, which is the masses, can fight for what they own by either casting our votes, the elections are coming up pretty soon. Vote wisely. Don't sell your future. Don't sell your future from empathy. That's why you have to vote for him.
Like say, I don't understand. It's like you're turning Nigeria to a monarchical system of government.
Yeah.
At the turn of the prince, we understand that, okay, when the king dies, the son of the king, when the king dies, the prince invariably becomes the king. But that's under monarchy.
Yeah, exactly.
So you cannot wake up and come out and say,
Yeah, or asked when you're president, what do you want to do to be president? Said no, the objective is to unseat the other ruling party. Like, what do you have to offer? Your job is to unseat the ruling party. So I just think we as people as well should vote wisely. And I don't think I might be in the best position to say what I'm going to say next is getting involved in politics. I know your viewers will say, yeah, bro, that's why I can easily talk. So that's why I'm giving you a disclaimer. I can't do that actively here, but there are plans for that in the future. So get involved. The little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. It's the same way they say the little leakages that sinks the ship. So at least let's make that mighty ocean, rather than sink the entire country.
Right.
Just cast your vote, get involved. Don't see leadership as something that is meant to be to the old people.
Yeah, only for a second.
We met 12 years ago. We are that old people. We are those people they're talking about. 12 years ago. So people are age, I was watching a documentary of I think it's Afrobeat something. I was just watching it a few minutes ago. And I'm watching videos of Kenny and Dim, and I'm like, these guys were actually young in those videos.
Yeah.
They're actually young, but because we see them so much in our faces, we just assume they've always been like that. Well, no, those guys were really young.
They were very young.
So we need to act today and vote wisely and also get involved. Like that's like a little thing I would say. Unseat all these guys, because we are the government of the people for the people. So we are the
we do that. Yeah. My brother, thank you so much for that, brother. Thank you for coming on the show today. And having said what you said, I would like to join and implore Nigerians back home. I wish those of us in diaspora can find a way to vote too. But for those that are back home, please get your PVC. Let your voice be heard. Don't go by the belief that say, oh, they're not going to count my vote or my vote doesn't matter. We need to try. We need to start from the grassroots, from your councillor to the local government chairman. You need to know who exactly is taking those positions. You got to vote the right people in. For instance, if we have representative from the councillor level all the way to the vice president level, if the president himself is not willing to help or to do anything, I would say in terms of uplifting the lives and property of Nigerians, then nothing can really be done. Sure. It starts from the scratch. Then, if something is going wrong in the grassroots, they are allocating funds year in and year out to the local government chairman, to the senators, and all those people. Who's holding them accountable? There should be checks and balances. So we all got to get involved. We shouldn't just say, "Oh, politics is meant for the upper class."
Sure.
So please get your PVC. Make sure you vote, and when you vote, please stand by the polling center. Make sure the vote is counted, and before we hear stories of rigging or no rigging, whatever. So, brother, thank you once again for being on this episode. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. And I'll see you guys once again on the next episode. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.